take the ride. Take the ride. For more fun, you better subscribe. You never want to miss the vibe. Take the ride. more fun, you better subscribe. You never won't miss the vibe. Scrolling through my feed, looking for a good time. Hatcher on YouTube, dropping truth and rhyme. Passion for magic, he's playing the cards right. Live stream so funny, keeping us up all night. Waking up early.
Bum, bum, billy, boo, it's the Wonders Historian. Hello! What up, my friends? Okay, for a second I was like, yo, is the microphone on? But it looks like it is. So, welcome. Today, we're going to talk about world building in card games. That is what, hold on. Did I actually, let me just make sure that I set this the way that I wanted it. Okay, good. Good. All right, excellent. Don't mind me. Still in recovering mode. My body's still recovering, so I'm a little bit dumber and slower today. It is what it is, my friends. Okay, let me grab the live stream link and share that in the Discord, and then we shall have ourselves a chillin' time. All right. Okay. There we go. That's good. That's good. That's good. Everything looks like it's good. So, time for hellos. What up? Eng, Gossett, Habanero, James P, Joe, Larry, Goddard, Zircon, Juglum, Death, Lasagna, Shelton. I hope you guys are doing well. No hello for you, Winter. Fuck you for saying that. And hello to you, Millmaster. How's it going? Oh, man. Oh, man. So, yeah, I'm still obviously healing up. Healing up from the old surgery, right? Just surviving. Just surviving. But I thought it would be interesting to talk about world building specifically from the perspective of card games, because it is a genuinely interesting subject and there are a number of viewpoints about it. And I've been enjoying the new way, like the series of live streams that we've been doing, kind of discussing different aspects of card game design, flavor, and all of that. It adds something to the streams. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? What up, every day? So yeah, when it comes down to it, there are some people who feel like world building isn't terribly important. This came as a big surprise to me as somebody who, for example, to use a big well-known card game we talk about all the time, Magic, right? Magic, up until recent times, has had a swords and sorcery style, high fantasy flavor vibe to it. And I found that drew me in. So, I can get people saying, I don't care about what's going on overall, Hold on. There's something going on with the stream. You guys getting lag? Okay, well, on my end, the stream strength says that it's coming through good. Like, it's showing me through YouTube that I have strong streaming, and it's showing, like, YouTube saying it. My actual streaming software is saying it. I'll just run a quick internet speed test to just double check and see if it's something happening on my end, boys. Or if this is just a wider issue that might be happening with the platform. Okay. It's definitely not a problem on my end. My internet is strong. It is strong like an ox right now. Strong as an ox. So I'm broadcasting out thick, strong, and vibrant, boys. Fat and throbbing. There's nothing I can do about any issues that are going on are YouTube issues as opposed to issues on my end. So I have no control over that. So refresh your browsers or whatever else. But like there has been no disruption for me on my end. Juglin says, I don't know much about world building, but a world without jugs is a world I don't want to be a part of. I hear you. I hear you. Larry, you say that world building is extremely important in trading card games. It adds depth. It adds depth. Magic the Ends world building has gone to shit. Yes. Yes. I would agree. I would agree with that. 100%. What up, Error? What's going on, Platypus? Hello, Kensuke. So, yeah, like I'm enjoying Pokemon Go, for example, just for the mechanics of it, and I'm completely indifferent to their world building and characters. But that's not really an excuse for, like, I'll still engage with the game for other reasons than that, but that doesn't change the fact that the game would be better if it was more engaging in that regard, right? So there are people who argue that it doesn't matter with card games and say world building is inconsequential. I do not agree. I think that it genuinely adds a fair bit. One of the interesting questions I think in this regard is there such a thing as too much world building, right? Like I tried to take it in my own mind to kind of a logical extreme of what might be too much in terms of world building. Like, how dense do you want your world building to be? And I think when it becomes too dense is if the majority of your world building happens out of sight of the card game. So, like, having some things that are referenced on cards to things that aren't on cards, I think is a good mix that adds depth. But if too much of your world building, like if you have, let's say, like 80 books of story for like one set, right? And then on the cards, come on now. Oh my God, there we go. So I don't know exactly what the upper threshold would be, but I do feel like there is an upper limit where you have too much. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Winter, you think that world building helps with game design itself? I mean, having the world building inform game design or game design inform world building does make sense. It feels more satisfying, right? Like, the more internally consistent something feels, the more satisfying it's going to genuinely be. Now, we've seen this, for example, the opposite, really, with Magic, where they did their boop, 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 Welcome to Thunder Junction set, and a ton of people said, why is everybody wearing cowboy hats and dusters and using thunder blasters? And Wizards just went, yeehaw, partner! Like, they didn't give any reason, and it felt jarring. And I've read discussions of people talking about how they said, I don't really care that much about lore or world building, or that's what I thought. But then once it got taken away and they started to do this like race car set and the detective set and the cowboy set, I actually noticed that it was negatively impacting my overall enjoyment. So I really believe that world building does impact people who think they don't care about world building, because on a subconscious level, when everything feels right, it feels right, which sounds very obvious. But really, like when everything feels the way it's supposed to, you don't notice it because the water is flowing properly, right? But if things don't make sense, your brain will get snagged up on it. Even if you're not consciously aware of it, you'll just be like, this doesn't have the same flow. It doesn't have the same feel, you know? Zircon, at that point, it would seem their business is primarily the books and the card game is secondary. Agreed. That would be a reasonable way to look at it. Millmaster, you think you need good game mechanics, good world building, and balanced metagames in equal parts to have a quality TCG product? Well, that sounds very reasonable to me. Proper mechanics, good world building, and actually balanced gameplay as well, where there's not just like one deck that everybody plays. That's one thing I noticed from a lot of different card games I got into, was that it was pretty easy to find your way to the most busted, crazy deck. And there always was one. Like, I played a lot of card games over the years, and it took me very little time to figure out what the grossest strategy was and exploit it. And this was pre-internet times. Like, you couldn't just go online and look up what other people were doing. You had to sort it out yourself. And I've always been good at exploiting systems and figuring out the most degenerate nonsense to do. What up, Luke? How's it going? You know what, buddy? It's interesting that you bring up world building specifically in regards to the old vampire and werewolf games, right? Because those were two that I genuinely thought of that for me, I never got into those games because I had, as a kid, I had a limited budget in terms of games that I could like get into, right? And so I never got into vampire or werewolf, partially because I didn't care for the flavor. And when you think about it, if you're looking at a game and going, I'm not getting into it for its flavor, then you can say that it's done a good job of creating its flavor, of its world building, right? Like, it's like, I'm not really into this vampire game, but you recognize it is indeed a vampire game. They have made it feel like such, you know? So there's a bunch of games that I got into that had distinctive feels to them. Legend of the Five Rings had its own distinctive feel. Shadow Fist had its own distinctive feel. Illuminati had its own distinctive feel, right? And you can like, and having different factions, like for example, Wonders, right? Obviously we're on the Wonders channel talking about different card games. So Wonders has 6 different orbitals, all right? And these are essentially like your factions, your groups, your colors, however you want to differentiate it. So they have these different orbitals, and they all have a distinctive feel to them, right? Like, you take, for example, Solfera. This is the land of fucking volcanoes, fire, Viking warriors. You can feel all of that. It's a more inhospitable land, right? And then you take something like Thalwind, which is a land that's basically, come on, divided between, fuck my donkey, divided between air and sea. And you have you have air pirates, you have your water pirates that marry things together, but then you have a bunch of avian creatures, and you also have a bunch of under the sea Little Mermaid, for me, style stuff going on. It's not really Little Mermaid, but it just felt right saying that after Under the Sea. So each of the different orbitals has a distinctive feel to it. So you've got like, and on top of having a distinctive feel, they have a distinctive mechanical identity as well with a number of things. So I feel like that sort of thing lends itself well to card games specifically and lets you find your own kind of home to nestle into, you know? Yeah, Magor, you told them in every survey there should be a story reason for every card in the set. That would be ideal, wouldn't it? Put on your duster and cowboy hat and meet me in downtown Toronto at midnight. We're going back to New York, baby! World building in a game can get overdone or be too much. You've seen it in a lot of first-person shooters like COD, where the campaigns generally look okay, but they suck. Yeah, Jug'em, I don't like... I'm limiting my scope specifically to card games, so... I mean, video games are a completely different beast as far as I'm concerned and have different concerns. Like, for example, like, here's the difference between a video game and a card game. Everything, all the information you're going to get. Isn't that a nice sound, man? All the information you're going to get is encapsulated in a tiny little rectangle, right? All of the information, card names, card artwork, descriptive style flavor text, creature types, abilities, all of these things that come together to paint a picture, as it were. Whereas a video game has a much bigger palette to paint with in terms of world building, and you're not just taking individual elements. So I think bringing video games into this discussion, it's not an easy one-to-one comparison to make. So I get what you're saying, but it kind of falls out of the scope of what we're really diving into here. You know what I mean? But yeah, like, just, you can take cards from different groups in different games and get a different kind of vibe, right? And like, how serious does a game take itself? Are we dealing with something really complex? Is it like goofy? Are we talking My Little Pony, like level of goofy whatever nonsense? Are we talking about something like Legend of the Five Rings, where it's based on ancient civilizations, you know, that kind of a thing? Does it make a difference if the world building is good? Can an existing IP create a good TCG? Zircon, so you're asking if something that's not a card game can be translated into a card game, like in a acceptable, in a way that makes it good? I don't see why not. I mean, if you can take something that people already love and you can translate that into something that feels like it should, right? Like, this is the difference between something like Magic taking an IP that already exists and smearing it over Magic. It has, the IP has to be adjusted to what already exists in Magic. And so, like, the abilities can feel very weird and not make any sense. Like, hold on, what do we got here? Here's an example. We've got a Marvel card, right? This is the origin of the Avengers. And the first ability is Scry 2, which is to look at the top couple cards of your deck. How does that feel like this is the beginning of the Avengers, right? And then the next ability is you can put a hero card with mana value 3 or less from your hand onto the battlefield, and if you don't, draw a card. So you can put out one hero. So you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put out one hero, and then put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That's the origin of the Avengers? It doesn't feel like it at all. That doesn't feel like the start of a superhero group, right? Where it's like, I got a bunch of superheroes together at all. You just look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one guy out, and then put +1, like, that's the origin of the entire Avengers. So because they have to staple it onto Magic's back and force the Marvel mask over Magic's face, it feels very weird. But if you take your card game and it's being specifically built with your property in mind, you can make abilities that actually feel like the card feels like this is supposed to be the origin of the Avengers, right? Now, I'm not a big superhero guy, but the origin of the Avengers should feel very, like, impressive, right? That should be an impressive thing. This is not impressive. But if you're creating your own mechanics and building your own game around a particular IP, then you can get that perfect flow. So I do think that that pre-existing IPs could definitely develop compelling card games, you know? Careful, the new Magic cards are razor thin. Card quality is definitely another thing, right? Gianna, you think the problem is how to continue to produce it while maintaining continuity with the original IP and still develop TCG properties? Elaborate on what you're saying. I'm interested in the point you're trying to make. Having your own lore is a stronger draw, but you can have a light or heavy amount. Agreed. Agreed. Like, for example, Wonders, right? What they're doing right now is they have a bunch of lore kind of fleshed out. This is my understanding. They have some lore fleshed out, but a lot of it hasn't been revealed yet. So they have given some tantalizing bits of lore here or there, and they're kind of building it out slowly. They're keeping a lot of it under their hat, And they're also allowing people to come up with their own supplementary lore based on owning art proofs. But that lore isn't considered canon, it's adjacent, right? So maybe they could bring it in if they want. But ultimately, they have more lore under the surface that they're allowing to inform their set design, but not really like putting out there. And I don't know where the right level is for that. I feel like they're they're mostly doing a good job, but they could probably do with letting us see a little bit more of the lore. They do have something interesting going on with the prisoner. And the prisoner is currently like it's a somewhat mysterious character that got their hands on a magical quill that basically gives you, it turns you into a conduit for arcane knowledge. And so I think the prisoner ended up scrawling a bunch of insane, all kinds of stuff, right? But then all of that kind of got scrubbed out of existence. And the prisoner is called the prisoner because they've been locked up for what they know. And there is something going on where maybe if somebody figures something out and lets the company know they figured it out, that the prisoner will actually be released, because the prisoner has an ability on the card, on the actual card itself, that says you can only use it when the prisoner is free. And that like that is a lore based mechanical element that I find genuinely intriguing, but they've also been very cryptic about it. So it's interesting. I don't know exactly what the right amount of lore is. Jess, how is Wonders doing? Popular enough they're making sets each year? They seem to be doing pretty well overall. There is a new set slated to come out in a couple of months. So in October, right? So we're a couple of months away from the next Shattering, the next set release. Originally, the plan was to try and release a couple of sets last year, but producing a card game comes with a lot of challenges. So they weren't able to get the timeline right. And they were also trying to work it so that Tom Felton, who was the face of the Call of the Stone set, they were trying to work it out that maybe he would be able to come out to the event. Now, they weren't able to make that happen because it conflicted with his Broadway schedule, but there was a delay based on that. Either way, they've got things flowing the way they want more now. So they're getting a second set coming out this year. And I think that one set a year is a very slow pace. And I can understand card games wanting to do that, where it's like, okay, we're going to take our time. We're going to only be able to do like so much or whatever. But I also feel like one set a year isn't enough, right? I think that like 2 or 3 sets a year, maybe 4, is probably a good range where you have enough new stuff coming along that people can enjoy it, open it, incorporate it without there just being this fire hose of product. Because Magic has reached this insane level where every 6 weeks it feels like they are just jamming a fat dong of new setitude down our throat, and it's really hard to keep up with, you know? Zircon, I have no opinions on the One Piece. I have not checked that one out yet. We're not talking about essentially like board game card games, which Uno is. We're like, Uno isn't a collectible or trading card game. That's the realm we're staying in. We're not talking video games. We're not talking fucking board games or self-contained card games. Like, obviously fucking Uno doesn't need lore. Like, that's like saying people wear socks. Like, what is even the point of that? Why did I even read that? Of course, Uno doesn't need fucking lore. Neither does Crazy Eights. Here's the lore behind Crazy Eights. They're crazy. And that's not even the story. Gianna, you want IP core concepts that balance with essential TCG concepts and build them so they can cooperate with each other and not skew far off. That makes sense. The more cohesive it feels, the better it's going to be. Juggling, the distinct difference between lore you discover and piece together yourself rather than having it force-fed to you. Yep, there's something to be said for discovering, well, the journey of discovery, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you that lore on its own without gameplay, I mean, what's the point? Why are you going to play a game that's not fun just because it has cool lore, right? Jess, you're correct. Smaller companies, newer companies obviously have to figure out all the logistics of creating a card game. And it is a logistics heavy thing, right? You have to figure out, first of all, you have to actually have your game designed, you have to have the cards themselves. And then there's the worrying about like the coalition, working with the card printers, all these kind of things. There are a million different aspects that go into card game creation, which is why I give newer card games a lot more slack when it comes to figuring things out compared to games that have been around for a long time, you know? You have to be reasonable. You can't expect people who are new to something to be old hands at it, right? Like Scorpageist, I agree. World building is something that you don't realize how important it is until you are lacking it. Correct. I definitely agree with that. So for me, a game like I can play games that don't have world building, obviously. I don't require every game that I have to have world building, but specifically in terms of trading card games and stuff, world building and characters really do matter. Like, let's see if I have something easily accessible. Uh, okay, yeah. Here we go. Got this game called Super Deck, and it's a superhero trading card game, but it's not based off of Marvel or anything like that, right? So this has to like do the heavy lifting of creating its own superheroes at the same time as introducing a game and everything else. And the superheroes that have been made for this feel really fucking weak, you know? So this is like this kind of like this is the kind of flavor and lore where you just go, eh, very unappealing, right? Whereas like the old vampire card game has a lot more depth and flavor to it. And it's creating something new too on its own, right? So it's not like you can't do it. Oh, that's right. These were all back when they were called Deckmaster games. Magic's a Deckmaster game. So is this. So yeah, I feel like Wonders is doing a pretty decent job with the range of different orbitals that they have, all giving themselves their own distinct identity and flavor that you can pull together by going through the cards and stuff. And you know, as time progresses, more story will become evident and things kind of get tied together. But for now, it seems like they're trying to keep it as low key as possible, you know? Jess, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, saying that like alpha magic cards were the best looking cards and the most magical looking. I don't know. Legends had a lot of like good vibe to it. I don't feel like there's one particular magic set where I would say this is where things were perfect. This is where things were the best. Um, the game benefited from having multiple sets that came together and kind of fleshed things out. You know? Larry, yeah, you definitely can make a trading card game without world building, but it will most likely be pretty dull. That that seems likely. I mean, you want something that captures people's imaginations. The more it feels like I think I think it's best when it feels like a lived in world. Do you know what I mean? Like the world feels lived in. Like the characters, the things you're seeing, they're not. This isn't just like what am I trying to say? Like when you see the card and you see the moment, you're like, okay, this is what's going on now. But I can see how this character or this creature or whatever has an entire life going on. And as you see different cards, you can kind of picture the ecosystem that they exist in and all of that, you know? Yeah, McGraw, now you're talking about being caught by a gigantic inflatable ball. Zircon, you think if gameplay is good enough, the lore matters much less, but you're struggling to think of an example. I mean, I think card games inherent, like the cards need to be exciting. The cards need to be interesting, right? That's what got me playing Magic, honestly, originally, was my buddies were playing and I was kind of disinterested. And then I was just flipping through cards and I looked at one and went, this actually seems like a really cool concept. Like this is like a cool little piece of artwork. Like what is going on with this card? What is the concept behind it? And that kind of pulled me in. So I think that I think having some world building done is going to be crucial for card games. Either through creating their own identity or if they're using an IP, then basically showing that IP in a way that people who are fans of that IP are drawn in by. So Dragon Ball brings you in because it's got all your favorite spiky haired yelling guys going, ah, ah, right? Like, Habanero, one of the things you liked about old Magic was the artwork cards wasn't constantly focused on the profile of a character. The artwork was usually always a scene. Fair enough. Some you think Homelands had great lore, but the cards in the set weren't great to play with. Uh, but they're fed into lore. You know what, man? I'll give you that. Homelands, things like Homelands and Fallen Empires didn't have a lot of super compelling cards from a gameplay standpoint, but they had really great flavor, great world building. I loved Fallen Empires. Like, I genuinely loved it. I thought it was really cool. It totally fed my imagination. Everyday Leviathan, yeah, man. Yeah, there's that little light, just the immensity of it. Absolutely. Habanero, if a character was the main point of the artwork, it was usually them acting on something in a particular scene with things happening and felt more realistic with world building. Yeah, you know what? Actually having like things going on rather than just like soldiers standing here or whatever definitely does make for better world building. It's one of the reasons you have a problem with recent TCGs. Every card is just the subject. It's the face of a single character standing there. That is a very common thing. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It is less compelling to just be like, here's Gus, and there he is just standing there. There's Bruce. Okay, he's standing over here. Why did you say that name? Oh. Gianna, friend. Oh, Frank Franzetta. His style. Really good, man. Really good. Remember when Magic was the devil's game? Actually, I do remember that. I remember when there was a bunch of worked up old people. Oh my god, Magic is the tool of the devil and whatever. It's like it's just a card game. It's just a card game. Zircon, you wonder if that's why you hated the silhouette variant cards? Silhouette variant cards. Are you talking about the ones from Modern Horizons where like it just shows like somebody's face from the side or whatever? Like and that one guy who just looks like a hipster in a fucking toque that you would see at like a at an expensive coffee shop, right? Is that what we're talking about? Because like I hated those, bro. With the solid color background, yeah, yep, did not like those. They're not compelling at all. They're not compelling at all. And I definitely don't like some just random bearded guy in a toque just looking like, hi, I live in a loft downtown. Okay. All right then. You know? It's wonky. It's wonky. So yeah, I think that you need both. I think you need proper gameplay and proper world building together to really have genuine success. And that way it just feels better because every point in your favor makes your game stronger, right? The smaller things that people may not think about actively while they're playing, but their subconscious, your brain still notices. It still pulls it in, right? Habitar, I'm with you on that. The more things that are going, well, I guess I shouldn't say the more things because there is an upper threshold to it too. But having some things going on, having actual interaction with the world is better than people, just people. And yeah, exactly. They correct that lens to the world feeling lived in. Juggling people can relate to the world and its situation and result of actions. Yep, absolutely. Some you like when action cards show other named characters doing things, tying it together. It's more world building. Here is the thing that's going. It's like here's a fireball. Here's a fireball being cast by a character in the actual world, right? Jess, you like designing hero worlds or magical worlds? Fair enough. Either can be compelling. Superhero stuff mostly doesn't capture my imagination nearly the same way. Magic is the goodness. Gianna, you can relate to fat jugs on cards? Well, you know what? You're not alone in that. Habanero, it's fine, man. It's fine. Like when you see something happening over and over in a number of card games, it's hard not for it to stand out. And your brain just goes, I wish this was different. I wish it was like this because it would make it more engaging for me. So yeah, I feel like world building is genuinely important. I think that if you ignore it, you ignore it at your peril, and that it is detrimental to your overall game. So yeah, McGraw, if there's no story, it's just Uno. I mean, that's a pretty simple way to put it, and it doesn't feel wrong. It doesn't feel wrong to describe it that way. Uh, Millmaster says, let's get a lore D of the board. All right. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Thanks, big boy. You are the lore D of the board. Habanero, yep, the science fiction and superhero stuff, it's fine. It just doesn't pull me in to the same degree. But you can kind of meld them together. Like technology and magic together can be interesting, like in some of the old Final Fantasy games. Or I like the techno historian from Wonders because he's like basically made out of like living magical metal, and it's a weird combination of like old technology and magic, although admittedly I guess I'm kind of making some of that up myself because it is my character and there isn't really much in the way of lore. It's just like the art. Or here, you know what, hold on, I'm gonna play the intro again and just kind of take a look at it for a second. Bum bum billy boo, it's the Wonders historian. Hello. Like he's got like a wizardy kind of vibe. You know what I mean? Like he's like a weird. I don't know. He's just like a weird ancient wizard made of like living magical metal. I find it compelling, you know? He looks just like me. Well, there is some facial similarities now that you bring it up, Gianna. I mean, I do also say, hello! Zircon, you realize you didn't take time to appreciate the art in the past when I made a video about the slime secret layer. My descriptions inspired you to get it. Oh yeah, honestly, I've heard from a bunch of people they like the way that I talk about magic art. There's a lot of little elements to appreciate. I do love diving into the details. I mean, hell, I literally was sent this by a magic artist who appreciates how much I appreciated their artwork. It's enjoyable to just dive in to the flavor, and yeah, taking time to stop and appreciate it is worthwhile. So, I think there's a lot that we take for granted, you know? Habanero, you like how Mirrodin and Phyrexia were done, but that's as far as you're comfortable when it comes to your fantasy games. I feel you. It's all the metallic sinew. It's got that Phyrexian vibe. It does, doesn't it? Just Doctor Doom uses technology and magic together. See, I'm not really aware of that. I don't really know much about Doctor Doom. But magic is the most compelling thing to me. Like, actual, genuine magical abilities and shit, casting spells and stuff. It's just cooler than technology. It always will be. And the more advanced mankind's technology gets, the less exciting fake, like, made up technology from stories and stuff gets, because it just feels like an inevitability. And I know they say a sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, but it's not. It's distinguishable in the way that it feels. You can feel the difference. The difference between this is based on scientific principles. I mean, the internet is like fucking magic, right? Hell, electricity is like magic. It's lightning in the fucking walls of your house, bro. But it doesn't feel magical. It's incredible what it does, but it doesn't feel magical. Magic is magic. Science is science. Technology is technology. And they will never feel identical, right? That's just the reality of it. Magic is just, it's more exciting. It's more exciting to me. It's a personal preference kind of thing. But I like getting into all the little details. You know, it's like Dungeons and Dragons. I loved reading about all the different spells and abilities and fucking magical items and stuff. And just even the paintings that were in, like the full page paintings, I would just look at those and go, this is amazing. Like, this is a whole moment captured here, and there's so much to appreciate about it. And with card games, you just get tons of these little paintings, right? All these little things going on. But on top of that, you get more because you get the actual card and what it does. So it all comes together to paint an even bigger picture and give your imagination more. Habanero, well thought out magic systems. Yeah. Like, it's funny because magic systems are based on rules too. And you could almost go, well, what's the difference between science and technology that are based on technological principles, right? Where it's just like, okay, you have scientific principles that this is built on, this is how it functions. And this magic has its own rules and how it operates and like the forces that create it and everything. So what's the difference? And the difference is how it fucking feels. The difference is how it feels. It literally feels magical, you know? Pretty nutty. All right, I have to take my medicine. So it's going to take me a little bit of time. I am going to put the intro back on because of how long it's going to take, but I will be back, my friends. Okay, so just hold on.
Scrolling through my feed, looking for a good time. Hatcher on YouTube, dropping truth and rhyme. Passion for magic, he's playing the cards right. Live stream so funny, keeping us up all night. Waking up early, smelling bacon in the air. Gotta start the day with a savory fare. Evening rolls around, time to chill and unwind. Tune in for chill streams, where relaxation you'll find. Come hang out, let's battle for Lord of the Board. Hatcher's got the insights, he's got us all aboard. In the world of magic, the gathering, he's a master and a guide. So let's talk MTG and take the ride. So let's talk MTG and take the ride. For more fun, you better subscribe. You never want to miss the vibe. Hatcher is the master of MTG. Oh, live streams and videos are never a bore. Streams are fun, super chaotic. You'll be back as it's all hypnotic. Come hang out, let's battle for Lord of the Board. Hatcher's got the insights, he's got us all on board. In the world of magic, the gathering, he's a master and a guide. So let's talk MTG and take the ride. For more fun, you better subscribe. You never want to miss the vibe. Scrolling through my feed, looking for a good time. Hatcher on YouTube, dropping truth and rhyme. Passion for magic, he's playing the cards right. Live stream so funny, keeping us up all night. Waking up early, smelling bacon in the air. Gotta start the day with a savory fare. Evening rolls around, time to chill and unwind. Tune in for chill streams, where relaxation you'll find. Come hang out, let's battle for Lord of the Board. Hatcher's got the insights, he's got us all aboard. In the world of magic, the gathering.
All right, thanks for bearing with me, my friends. It's whatever. I'm a medical freak and I gotta do things to medically survive, boys. Scorba guys, do you think that the world needs to feel lived in, but there needs to be mystery and room for personal interpretation of the world you experience? Not everything needs a canon answer. You know what? I like that. I like that. You know, not having literally every single thing spelled out for you with a specifically definitive answer does, I think, lend to. I was just ahead. That's my medication alarm. I was just ahead of it, just on top of it. So that's great. Some it was a suppository. Bro, I wish if that was it, I would just do a handstand on stream. I would just do a handstand and fucking dunk it, bro. You kidding me? We'd set up a stream goal. Stream goal to stretch the hole, bro. Oh. I feel like suppository medication is like an antiquated thing and they don't do it nearly as much as they used to. And thank God for that because I don't know about you guys, but I'm not interested in jamming things up my ass like at all. At all. What, I got to get a fucking mirror on the floor and squat over it like I'm some weird fucking OnlyFans chick? Kensuke turned the shield upside down. Oh, you know what? That would actually kind of work. I have a Wonders Historian shield that is inspired by the Magic Historian shield, so I do have that kind of imagery as well. Um, it's not on anything aside from maybe the banner that the people had at the Wonders event, but they did put one together for me based on my Historian shield, so I don't actually have to turn my shield upside down. That would be funny. Just reverse the image. Oh man. Still recovering from the surgery. It has kind of somewhat wiped me out. Not gonna lie. Glad I survived. I will say that. Does the fucking Star Wars Jedi stuff count as magic or psionics? It feels more like psionic powers, like man. It doesn't feel like magic. The Jedi use the Force doesn't feel like magic. It feels like mind powers for sure. It does not evoke magical feelings. A lot of magic is particularly in the aesthetic feeling of it, right? Incantations, spell components, a number of different things can be used to evoke the proper magical kind of feel. Habanero, the Force felt like a spiritual power to you? All right. Larry, you think the world building for Titan Breach is secretly fascinating? I have a feeling that it's just going to be Kamigawa with crystals lazily painted over it. So we'll have to see. Goddard, Jedi powers aren't magic. Magic is addressed in the animated stuff. Really? Star Wars has magic in it? Weird. Weird. That feels strange, doesn't it? Jesse got a bigger problem, bro. They vacuum cleaned out my soul. So, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And I'm gonna be real. I prefer to be worshipped by women, anyways. So, did I watch Witch Hat Atelier? I have not. I have not. I vaguely recall the name coming up. I haven't watched anime in months. I go in and out of phase with anime where I'm like watching a whole bunch of anime and then I kind of fall out of it. I've been watching like real human being shows. What I've actually really been sucked up into is Succession. Succession is a great show with great attention to detail and, funnily enough, good world building in subtle ways that you may not notice, but your brain will appreciate and lends credibility to the show. I find it to be a very compelling show. Season three, um, like the first three seasons, very good. Season four is good too, but admittedly, with the change in dynamics, um, not really wanting to give spoilers in case you haven't watched it. It is a more recent show, but the change in dynamics in season four do make it somewhat less compelling. But the show is still very good, so I'm going to finish it through. It's not like Preacher, where season four is abysmal and you're just like, I'm genuinely mad now. Succession is still quite good, but season four is not. It's not pulling me in. What up, Thompson? You guys are talking about some shows. I feel like I should note this down. Hold on. I'm going to grab a notepad. I'm going to grab a notepad and make notes on some of this. I really do need to get a codified notebook for entertainment shows. Thompson, you've been watching House of the Dragon. I've been wondering if I should check that out, honestly. The Star Wars historian? Jess, you've been praying to me and your prayers get answered way more than praying to anything else by 30%. That's funny. All right. Hold on, I'm just going to write some of these down. I really do want to get a full notebook and start to keep more track of this. I used to have one that I was like keeping track of all the movies and shows and stuff in, but it's gone fucking AWOL. So, and all my notebooks are like in use. I think I'm just like out of notebooks, which is annoying. The anime about the summoner? Which one was that? Good animation comparable to a Ghibli movie. Studio Ghibli movies are something else, aren't they? My God, Howl's Moving Castle? Man, so good. So good. Oh, Hell Mode? I saw that. I saw Hell Mode. I saw the first season of that one. I saw that one. I also really liked Sentenced to Be a Hero. I thought that was good. Just somebody saying that they want to ruin your life does sound like somebody who's not making good choices. Second season has 7 episodes. Wow, okay. Moving along. That's great. I love it. I don't like watching shows now where they're just starting out. I really like to be able to watch a bunch of episodes. Just kind of, I've totally switched into binging. Waiting a week to watch shows. You know, if I was doing like ongoing videos talking about shows as they came along or some like podcast or something like that, I could totally see myself staying up to date and watching each episode as it comes along. But without something like that where we're doing that together, I feel like just watching like entire seasons or entire fucking series that have completed are where I'm at, you know? The Skeleton Knight, I only saw an episode or two of, so I didn't really get that much into it, but uh, it seemed good from what I saw. Well, Jess, that sounds like a serious chain of bad decisions, bro. Every day about to get to the fourth season of Expanse, I already let you know it sucks. It falls off. Pay special attention to the old lady diplomat and how much her character changes, because it is a very vivid change. She goes from being a clever plotting diplomat to like an angry old police commissioner. Get the fucking job done! You know, like, it's really confusing. It's really like a jarring shift. Zergon, you're hooked on binging, but you find you remember specifics and timing much worse than old shows you watched weekly on release. There is, I guess there is something to be said for that. Like, I have literally thought about doing series on shows where I just talk about each episode as they come along, maybe making videos about them, or live streams, or podcast. I haven't really decided what, but I thought that that might like help me delve more into each individual episode, or maybe even rewatch them. Like watch them once, first of all, just to get my overall feel for it, and then go back for like a more in-depth analysis, you know? You know when you hear noises and you're like, is somebody in my home? Is my door locked? Okay. We're good. World building is good for TV shows. Well, it's essential, right? Larry's supposed to get a thunderstorm tonight. Oh, I wonder if we're going to get something similar here. Honestly, I've been worried about it raining for like the last week or so because I wasn't supposed to fucking, like, I couldn't let my bandages and stuff get wet over my incisions. So I was really worried that it was going to fucking rain when I was out. If the sky looked like it was going to fucking rain, I brought a big, bulky, like, fucking jacket that was way too hot for the weather. It does look like we're going to get rain tomorrow, but it looks like it's not actually coming until, like, tomorrow afternoon. So yeah, world building is an essential thing as far as I'm concerned, specifically for card games. But I enjoy all the little fucking details that you find in things that combine together to compound. Like, for example, just since I did mention Succession, the details that they have to make the people in the show feel like genuine fucking rich people is none of these ultra rich people wear the really garish sort of rich people brands that have the names plastered across them. They're all wearing very expensive clothing, but they have no logos on them. They're wearing obscenely expensive clothes, but it's all like tailored high quality stuff from high quality brands, but not ones that are the pretentious, like over the top ones. None of them have cell phone cases or anything like that, because to the ultra rich, dropping a $2,000 phone and breaking it means nothing. They'll literally just be handed a new one by their assistant, right? There's all these little fucking details. None of them like have like fucking winter coats and shit that they wear because they're always traveling from one indoor area from another, right? Like they're just literally going from their high-rise penthouse into a fucking limo, taking them directly to a private plane. So there's no point in care. Like they have assistants to carry anything that they need to. There's all these little fucking details that convey a particular level of status. And the attention to detail in world building makes it feel more authentic. Every day, no, we didn't talk about world building with RPGs because, I mean, that's obviously essential. Some, if you like soul leveling, you might like Tomb Raider King. It's similar but different enough. Okay. Actually, I really liked the concept of solo leveling. Habanero, you have a large number of anime tabs on your browser. I do the same thing, bro. I'll have like multiple show tabs up, just like this is where I'm going next once I finish this show. But I want to get a proper fucking notebook going again and just keep all of these different things on there. I do like talking about shows with you guys. I have been enjoying those streams. Succession is something that's going to get its own live stream discussing it for sure. But yeah, world building makes a big deal. And I genuinely do believe that it matters for people who don't even realize that it matters and that you absorb it all. Just these tiny little details kind of stack up on top of each other to flesh things out and make the entire universe that you are inhabiting feel just that, inhabited, right? Like you are getting to visit this place and explore it from multiple different angles, and you can decide the level of attention you want to pay. But even without actively scrutinizing and paying a high level of attention, you do absorb it, you know? Habanero, you've been doing some reading. Nice. I've actually I have been reading as well. I'm currently reading the Redwall novel, which is pretty enjoyable. I can see why people like Redwall and got all excited for it when Bloomborough came along. So it took me a long time, honestly, to get around to it, but I've been enjoying it. Just yeah, sloppy writing ain't for me, bro. It ain't for me. If people want to go and like watch this, like if people just want to go and watch mindless blockbusters, they're welcome to. Absolutely. I just find myself like tuning out. Randomness, you started reading the Deathgate Cycle, a very solid series of books, bro. Definitely enjoyed my jaunt through that stuff. Uh, Thompson, you're still on Oathbringer. Oh, Stormlight action. Zircon, got nothing to say but saying it anyways. Just literally an empty sentence. Okay. Joglin, you saw Super Troopers 3. You thought it was the worst out of them so far, but it was okay. That's not high praise. That's not high praise. And I'm not surprised. The first Super Troopers was a solid movie, genuinely entertaining. Bear fucker, do you need assistance? Like it had some really amusing moments. The second one, I couldn't tell you anything about it. I could not tell you a single thing about the second Super Troopers movie at all. At all. Like I'm literally trying to think, is there a part in the movie where there's like they're in some kind of like truck or RV or something with like a back door that's open and one of them's hanging out of it? That's all my mind can summon from that movie. Whereas I could tell you tons about the first one. And so I don't see the point in watching the third one. You know? Zircon, you watched the proper mindless movie, Minions Monsters? Oh, those little fucking yellow things? Just Marvel movies have lost me, bro. I gave up on them after Endgame, and I don't regret it. I do not regret it. They have become just like intolerably boring. That's the real crime. Your movie needs to not be boring. I can forgive some plot holes. Story doesn't have to be fucking perfect. I will get annoyed and comment on them, but overall, I'll be like, okay, fine. It was an enjoyable, entertaining film. Entertainment is the number one fucking rule. That is the number one rule for the movie. You must be entertaining. That needs to be your fucking top priority. If it's anything else, fuck you, right? So, like, it doesn't feel like Marvel's movies' priority was being entertaining. It's just like they're fucking there. They just exist. And you're just like they're the most shruggable shit. You can't even get entertainment from like, look at how terrible this is. You're just like, this is my Marvel movie watching face. And then at a certain point, it just clicks in. You're like, I've given this 30 minutes. I've given this movie 30 minutes, and it's given me nothing. And I refuse to continue to fucking watch this horse shit. Like, I'm not going to bother. I tried watching The Eternals. I tried watching Shang-Chi. It's all just garbage. Just empty. It's empty. Spider-Man's definitely entertaining, but for me it would be annoyance and unanswered questions. That is annoying. The reality is there's just too much out there that's worthwhile to give your time to garbage. You know what I mean? The same thing translates to card games. There's a bunch of card games I won't fuck with because it's just a waste of my time. Just a complete waste of my time. You know, like, I didn't know if I was going to like Wonders, for example. I was just like, okay, we got a new card game. I don't know, but it's made by Tinsman. He worked on Magic a bunch, and I'd like to meet him. So let's go down and see what the game is like. And then when I got there and tried it, I'm like, oh shit, this is actually a real game. And Double Strike played it and was like, oh shit, I like this too. Like, it actually went over well with us. And went, okay, cool. This is a legitimate game. Awesome. Let's enjoy ourselves, right? So you have to be entertained. You have to be pulled in. Habanero, The Eternals, you forgot it existed, never saw it. You remember when it released? Well, you not seeing it was the right move. Sub says, I'm pretty sure I watched Eternals, but don't remember anything about it. Yeah, I watched like 35 minutes of it, and I went, nothing is happening. This movie is crap. I'm not going to... I feel bad for what's his name. The genuinely talented comedian in there. Kumail. Kumail is a genuinely talented comedian. He spent a bunch of time like getting jacked for that fucking movie. Like, he put a lot of effort into sculpting a superhero body, and it was all for a complete piece of trash. Juggling, one of your favorite movie comments you used lately is, I saw this movie, the nachos were great. Jess, how long did it take me to learn Wonders to be able to play? Like half an hour. I understood how to play in the first game, bro. It literally in the first game. Sat down and started playing. It's very easy to understand the flow of the game. It's like, okay, you're in realm 1. You have 3 actions and you have 1 energy. Here's the cost of your cards. You get to do something, your opponent gets to do something, and you can spend your actions to play cards, to draw cards, or to attack. And you're trying to take the stones in the middle. So, like, for real, it took no time at all to get my bearings. And by the end of the game, I felt like I understood it well enough that I had only played 1 game of it by the time I went to the Shattering. And I was explaining to multiple people at my table around me during the first actual official event how to play the game, right? So one of them was like a level 4 Magic judge, who was just like, he was appreciative. There were a number of people who were appreciative of me explaining how things fucking worked. I found it to be very easy to pick up. I've played a fuckload of card games. So, and if you already know Magic, it's super easy to pick up. And there was some things that didn't feel intuitive, like the +1 and -1 counters not canceling each other out. And I actually went up. It's an interesting experience to be there at the birth of a game and be able to go up to the guy who created the game and go, how do these rules work? And then have him explain them to me. And then I go, okay, so +1 counters and -1 counters exist together on the card? And he's like, yes. And I was like, okay. And then I went and played that way. And every time I played with anybody, it felt confusing. And they thought that, no, this doesn't work. This doesn't make sense. They must cancel out or whatever. So I ended up going up to him after each round and telling him, okay, I played another round. And just so you know, this counter thing is a real deal. It's counterintuitive. I was like, why don't you just do it the same way that fucking Magic does it, where they cancel out? And he's like, I'm not trying to layer in too many rules, and we're just kind of doing things as we go along or whatever. And I'm like, okay, I get it. But I just kept going up to him, like after multiple rounds, saying, look, man, everybody I see is playing it the other way. You're fighting against what feels natural to people. And it was funny because he just said to me, the guy who made the game, Brian Tinsman, just says to me, he's like, look, man, I'm autistic. And I don't know if you're giving me genuine feedback or you're fucking with me. Because he knows I like to fuck around, right? He knows what I'm like. So he's like, I don't know. Are you giving me real feedback? And I was like, I'm giving you genuine feedback. I care. And I've experienced this with enough people that the +1, -1 stuff is actually being played differently by your players. You should just lean into what makes sense to them, bro. Because it's fucking easier. And it's less fiddly and whatever. And he agreed with me. So by the time I was on my way back home from being down there meeting them, he actually texted me to say, we've changed the fucking rules. So I influenced the rules of the game in a positive way that helped everybody, which felt pretty good, admittedly. You know what I mean? But the game is easy to understand. I will say that I am somebody who understands rules inherently, though. I have a really good grasp of game rules and figuring things out. I have a highly analytical mind. I can follow logical paths of progression very easily. I happen to be really fucking smart. So it's not a challenge for me, but this game, that's not me saying that this game is super complex and that, oh, only I can get it. It's easy to pick up and understand. There's a lot of different card interactions that might throw you off a little bit here or there, but the flow of the game is easy to pick up. Hey, what's up, Bloggerito? He was great on Taskmaster. He's so famous. How about when there was when the one guy mentioned the Eternals and he was like, you didn't see the Eternals. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, he did not. He did not. Hey, Finn, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Jess, the reason I told him about that stuff was because, like, I'm enjoying the game. I was having a fun time at the first event. I was helping people figure out how to play. Like, basically, anybody who was in my radius that seemed confused, I was able to explain to them how shit worked. And if there was ever a question, I could literally walk up to the game designer and say, hey, how does this work? You know what I mean? Bo Falcon says, did you book your stay in Vegas yet with lasagna? Look. Oh, Bo. Bo. Finn, good enough figuring out how to put stuff together. What, like with glue? You huffing glue? Yeah, exactly. Having counters cancel out does make more sense. And considering that, like, the response I was given was just he was trying to, like, keep things simple and say, like, Magic took times to figure all this stuff out, so we're going to do the same. And I'm like, well, what you're saying makes sense to me. But then watching, like, every fucking opponent that I played, when there was +1 and -1 counters on them, and they started to take them off, and I was like, no, the rules are they both stay on the card. And they looked at me quizzically and confused, like what I was saying didn't make sense. And I'm like, that's the rules. I've confirmed it. So after, like, literally after each round of the tournament, I had that happened every fucking round. So I went to Tinsman after every round bringing it up. And I guess the reason it took so long is he kind of looked at me bemused because he just thought I was fucking with him. So when he just leveled and said, yo, I'm autistic and I don't know if you're fucking with me, I'm like, no, this is genuine, actual feedback for your game that I think will improve it, bro. So he sent me, like, the updated fucking rules saying we've changed the rules officially. Vloggerina says, oh, wait, there's a Vegas trip coming up. Bo Falcon, is Lasagna paying you? Because he should be. Because all of a sudden she's on board now, bro. Something must have happened with her boyfriend. Finn, it sounds delightful compared to this wiring. Oh, you building yourself a robo dick, bro? I hope it plows you good. Jess, am I a celebrity yet? Do you need millions of subs to be famous or have a million people know about you? I mean, everybody's going to have different levels of what they consider famous. So most people aren't going to consider me famous. But if you take a very select slice of people, yes, I am. Right? Like, put me in a magic convention and I am. Like, to an almost unsettling degree. Right? Magic players are introverts. So there's not as many people who will come up to you. But I've literally had people who are like leaving the event and I'm walking into the event and then the person who's leaving the event goes, holy shit. And they start walking backwards talking to me like, I didn't know you were going to be here. I'm leaving, but it's so cool to see you. And they're literally walking backwards talking to me into the fucking event. I remember going to conventions and being like, it'd be funny if nobody noticed me and getting a response. Yeah, right. And then before I even get in the fucking front door, people are like, hey. And like the last one I went to with Double Strike was a huge magic, like Magic Fest or whatever in Toronto with thousands and thousands of people. And there was people jumping up from their seat and running after me. Can you sign this for me? Can you sign this for my girlfriend? Like people stopping me in the VIP room at other events going, hey, I don't want to bother you while you're eating or whatever. But I just wanted to let you know that me and my boyfriend are really big fans of yours. And I'm like, oh, you're allowed to interrupt me to praise me whenever you want. That's all good. You know what I mean? So, like, when I went to this last event, like, everybody knew the fuck I was. The different vendors selling different products. Here's the guys making card sorter or whatever. They know who I am. The guys at this booth, they know who I am. The fucking playmats. They were selling playmats with raccoons on them. And it said, fine rectangular luxury garbage or whatever. Like it literally was a variation of my fucking line, bro. I just asking random people. Like somebody walks by with a burger and I'm just like, where did you get that burger? And he starts to respond, oh, my buddy got it. Hey, you're right. And then so his buddy comes along and I'm like, where did you get that burger? And he goes, hey, you're, and like, I would just walk by, and somebody had a neat little statue. I'm like, that's a neat statue. And they're like, yeah, like so many fucking people recognize me that it made me uncomfortable. I'm like, way too many people know who the fuck I am. So yeah, in the right area, I am famous. And there are people who completely outside of that realm get excited. When people find out, like the one doctor in the hospital, you can see them perk up. The fucking doctor that I was talking to about my gallbladder issues, we found out was a YouTuber. And he perked up and he got interested and asked me questions about it. And the nurse after I came out of I woke up from being knocked out or whatever, and we're just kind of chatting. And I say stuff and she's like, oh, I feel like I'm talking to a celebrity. Like I literally had that response from a bunch of people. So it varies. You know what I mean? Vloggerina says, we're not all going together. It's you and lasagna. All right? You're the cheese and the lasagna. He's going to noodle you. Finn says, how do we sponsor this Vegas trip for the Olive Garden duo? Did I figure out where to get the burger? Yeah. They go, you're the guy. And I'm like, I am the fucking guy. Nice to meet you. How you doing? Where the fuck can this guy get a burger? You know? What up, Kyle? Vloggerina, can your boyfriend come? I mean, can he? It depends on how good a job you do sucking it. Hey, see what I did there? That's between you and him. Finn, sponsor the Vegas trip for the Olive. Do you mean sponsor Vloggerino and lasagna going together? Jess, it does feel cool. It's nice to be able to make people happy, but it also is unsettling to have so many people know who you are. You know, like it's a bit weird. it's a bit weird. Not in a particularly negative way, but like, it's funny too because there's some people who um don't know who I am, and it's fun to just play into that. Like there was this guy at the event who had no fucking clue who I was, and he was so fucking full of himself. And so he's just doing this thing, and I was just like, "Oh, are you a content creator?" And he's like, "No, but I could be." And like I was like, "Oh, that's crazy. I could never do that. Like I could never do that, you know?" And he's like, "Yeah, well," and he started talking about he yells at like 4 or 5 year olds or some kids at karate or something like that. Like that translates into it. I really didn't understand, but I was just like, "You yell at people?" I could never yell at people. Meanwhile, Double Strike is like 2 feet away, and he had to turn around because he was just like, you know what I mean? Hearing me say this shit, because it's hilarious to me. So sometimes people are aware that I'm somebody, but they don't know who the fuck I am. So they'll be like, "I feel like I know you." And I'm like, "Do you watch cooking shows?" Like, I just say crazy shit to people. Any travel plans coming up? I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna go to a MagicCon. Maybe I'm gonna go to a MagicCon in the States this year. Maybe that's secretly in the works. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe later this year I'll be at a big magic convention. Fan, the next time I'm at a convention, you need to yell Hellgate Kool-Aid. Fuck you. Do I feel less anonymous with my fame? In particular magic, inside magic stores, magic conventions, and that kind of stuff, yes, I do feel less anonymous. In everyday life, no, which is kind of perfect. Although I have had people like I was just ordering at the Arby's, and the guy behind the counter was like, "I feel like I know you. Like, why do I know you?" And I was like, "Do you play Magic the Gathering?" You know? He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's what it is, brother." Sam says, "I knew it. You're from that bacon stream." Most people know me as the Magic Historian. Some people knew me from Fantasy Geographic. Some people get tripped out where they're like, they stumble on the Historian channel and they're like, "Wait a minute. Are you the guy from Fantasy Geographic? Your voice sounds really familiar." It's like, I sure am. Finn, your money would be that I would go to Japan and don't come back? Oh, going to Japan. Vloggerino, I'll be at the Shattering? Yep. I do plan to go to the next Shattering. Every day, what's the best way to approach you? Just walk up and fucking say hello. I'm extremely approachable, honestly. I've been told, like, that Double Strike told me that people have hung back and, like, they didn't want to come up and talk to me, and they talked to him afterwards, because some people get, like, starstruck or whatever when they see somebody that they've watched. And like I said, Magic players are introverts, so some of them aren't comfortable coming up and talking to me, which is fine. But I'm a nice guy. I'm always happy to meet anybody who's excited to meet me. You know what I mean? So Bowfang, and I know I've seen you before. Keyforge, maybe, right? I became notorious in Keyforge circles pretty quick. It didn't take long to find Reddit threads complaining about me there, too. I got a polarizing personality. Knuckle bump or handshake? Fist bumps, absolutely. Simply because, like, we're at a convention and everybody's fucking hands are, like, fucking dirty, and I'm, like, might need to go and eat or whatever else. So when people want to shake hands, most of the time I'm just like, let's do one of these, bro. Because, you know, if I'm touching everybody's fucking hands, I'm going to be fucking a vector of disease, you know? Spreading it around. Hugs, Juggling. It's actually funny. Some people, like, when I surprised Matt Caster at a Magic Con out of nowhere, I just walked up to him and I was like, "Hey, are you Matt Caster, mage?" Because he wasn't facing my way and I didn't want him to recognize my voice, and I wanted to freak him out. I wanted to sound like some chud fucking idiot. So I was like, "Hey, are you Matt Caster, mage?" And he fucking turned around with this kind of like worried look on his face. And then he saw it was me and his face lit up and he was like, and he almost went to fucking leap on hug. He's like, man, I want to fucking hug you. Like, so people react differently. Habanero says, wait a minute, I know you, the guy people pay to insult them. Some, it's weird meeting someone you only see in streams or vids because you know them, but they don't know you. If it's videos and you've just watched videos and haven't commented on them, then I can see that. But with streams, I talk with you guys. I feel like I fucking know you. You guys have distinct personalities that do shine through in your comments, you know? Vlogarino says they're just people, some gotta be normal. Vlogarino is the kind of lady who will just meet some fucking creator and then start giggling and playing with her fucking hair and flaunting her jugs and stuff. And the next thing you know, she's just fucking smelling on him and taking her shirt off in the hotel room. You know, that's how it is. That's how it is. I'm calling it. So she's saying they're just people, but then she's like staring at their dongs. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? She meets them and then she meets them, right? She's the kind of chick that like the first night you meet her, you could totally get her into, like, you could just go up to her hotel room and crawl into bed with her. You know what I mean? Jess says, I've said enough shit that Hatcher knows me almost as well as I know him. He picks up when I contradict myself talking about myself. These streams feel like hanging out with friends. I don't feel like I am some kind of presenter, you know, where it's just like, I have a personality, a persona that I portray, and I am here to present to you. It's like, I've always just been me. I think that's part of what makes people fucking like me. It's because it's just like, it's genuine shit. Just come fucking hang out with me. I'm a chill guy. Vlogarino, I'm just making Lasagna's dreams come true, you know? I'm making him think that he's got a fucking chance, even though he's not here right now. Finn says, Vloggery, I'm sorry, but I tend to agree with Mike. I also feel like you'd have fresh baked cookies for him. Yep. Oh, she'll share her fresh baked cookies. She'll show up in the creator's merch and be like, check out what I got under my shirt, bro. Let me stare at your dong with longing. The #1 hit single from Vloggerino. Let me stare at your dong with longing. Let me look at it hungrily. I'll stare at it in the bathroom when you've taken a shower with me. Zircon says, I feel like all that speculation was actually experienced. There you go. That's the lived in reality. Zircon knows what's up. He knows what's up. Habanero, I don't know, man. I don't know. I do not know. People leave all the time. Fucking Aether Hub bounced. He's just like, I'm done. I'm not making fucking Magic Lore videos anymore. He's like, I'm just going to do my real world job and take care of my fucking family. And that's understandable. I get why a bunch of people leave, honestly. Like, there's a lot of work that goes into it. And it's not a fucking high paying endeavor, right? Like, only the craziest, like, top percent of YouTubers strike it rich and become, like, fucking ultra wealthy and whatever. So I'm wired to entertain people. That's how I'm built. I love entertaining people and making them fucking happy. And that's why I keep coming back, you know? Finn, enjoy the free stuff, bro. Habanero's a good guy. You hope life is treating him well. I assume it is. Every day, you can't feel bad that you forgot about somebody when they haven't made anything in fucking years, right? Yep, my niche is small, but I can get by on it, and the people that love me come and fucking hang out, and it's fulfilling to me. I love getting to do this. One of my biggest fears is this going away. Yeah, Juggle, exactly. What's a fucking Magic lore channel supposed to do when Magic is doing such a piss poor job with its own lore, right? Not much to be done about that. Hmm. All right, my friends, thanks for coming and hang out with me. It's been a nice fucking stream. We will get back together again tomorrow, but I need to go and rest now. My energy levels have I can feel it. I can feel it. I do have some limitations. So, thanks for being here. Have a good time with the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys again soon.